Hi, Dr. Cheryl Meier here, psychologist and life coach. Also, good vibe teacher. I love teaching about good vibes. I love it. So today I wanted to go to a different place. Actually, my dog needed to be groomed really bad, so this is where I go. I found a place down here one time when I was just walking randomly, and it actually brought me to what was next door to it was a girl surf shop. So I signed up for a surf lesson, a proper surf lesson, my first one, because last time a 14-year-old boy taught me in the water. He was so great. He's so sweet. A friend of my friends. A child. Anyway, but what I wanted to teach you guys today about is how to stop pleasing people. Honestly, I've just been here. Let me get you some. I didn't even please you guys, but let's see if we can get some of the background yet. Like, it's ocean and boats, So, what happens when we are pleasing other people is, and we're in a certain mindset, and we're trying to figure out what they want and figure out, a lot of the times it's how to please someone else's ego. And so you can practice this within yourself, is when you start living to try to keep pleasing these different aspects of yourself and you don't really know yourself, then it's just you're pleasing the loudest voice. So if the loudest voice says, I want to drink, the loudest voice says, I want to eat, the loudest voice says, I don't want to exercise, the loudest voice says, I want to play video games, or I want to do this, or whatever, then that's often what we listen to, unless we're practiced not listening to it. And so part of how to do this is to learn how to get into deep presence and learn how to observe your thoughts and learn that you are not your thoughts. You have, that's part of what was coming through for me. Hold on, it's getting warm. Well, all right. So what I've been finding out myself, because I always am trying all this stuff out with myself, I'm always wanting to learn how to get to a deeper place, more intimate, more love, always more love. And what I found lately with that is getting in presence. Like Eckhart totally talks about in the whole book, The Power of Now. And I've been making a class. I have people enrolled, or I have a class going, and I do, yes. We're interacting in this class. But anyway, I'm learning so much from teaching the class on the power of now, on awakening your intuition through the power of now. But I wanted to share some of that with you guys for free on my YouTube channel, just because I love giving away what comes my way. So I look at, we want to get in presence, but why are we afraid to go in this deep place of presence? And let me preface it for a second with, you want to go to a deep place of presence because it's like developing muscles, developing the ability to discern, to choose which thoughts you're going to believe, which thoughts you're going to invest in. Your intuition is like your higher mind. It's like your soul's voice in a way, okay? And some people, they just describe the same thing in different religious traditions and backgrounds. They describe these kinds of these patterns and ways of knowing consciousness in different words. So don't get caught up by my words. If I start talking because I grew up with Christianity and I still learn so much from Christ, then don't, like, I invite you not to get caught up in all the words of what I'm going to be using. And I never want to preface that again, ever again. I want to be like, just watch this video if you have questions about what faith practice, is or whatever. Because anyway, so we all have a higher mind or a soul self, and some people describe it as that part of you is connected to God. You hear it in Christianity when Christ says, I am in you and you are in me and I am in God. I've meditated on that a lot. So find out for yourself, like if it matches in your faith practice or not, whatever. I'm going to go on describing what can happen is I think of some of my most magical experiences in life, and I think what was the common denominator in that? If I just calm down to the beach, am I going to get that feeling of good vibes? Am I going to get that feeling of awe or expansiveness or open heartedness? Oh, here's my heart. See, am I going to get that feeling, or am I just chasing a feeling in order to satisfy this part of myself that's not satisfied or whatever? It doesn't matter. You don't have to overanalyze it. We're just learning. What I'm getting to is to teach you how to not be pleasing to people, not be pleasing to people, not be a people pleaser. Your identity, who wants their identity wrapped around being a people pleaser? But we learn to do this from our programming in our childhood. And sometimes, we resist. We resist breaking from that pattern. And because what I learned in my internship, and someone always says, oh, this is so hard. And he would always say, it's as hard as you resist it. And so it's like, what's your resistance about? Be curious. Look, this is my passion to teach people how to get out of this. I feel like I'm like Houdini, like get me in any situation. And I have learned a way to get out of it, to not just run away from it and numb myself, but to learn how to thrive and heal and have passion in my life and still be alive and love and connect and like have a deep experience of life and my spiritual path in life, or my soul path, or whatever. Anyway, so all right, so in those magical experiences, the common denominator I was reflecting on today, and this will get back to people pleasing, is just this sense of deep stillness or presence or just beauty, One of my favorite sayings, and look how I found it. I mean, I read Dostoevsky before, but that's so funny. Okay, let me share. Oh my gosh, I wish, maybe I'll show you guys the picture of the statue. Because there's this really hot sailor statue over there. He's all muscular and he's throwing, he's all muscular and he's throwing these, and I usually don't like muscular guys, like per se. It doesn't matter. I don't care. You are who you are. It doesn't matter. So don't try to please me, please. But this guy is like throwing these hides. It's the story of Dana Point down here. I'm at Dana Point Harbor, and he's throwing these hides down because that's what they used to do. But I was laughing because in my mind's eye, I got an image of the statue of where I ought to go today to do this video, somewhere around here. I don't know if this is the exact place, but because some skateboarders were sitting at the statue, so I could have done it there, but I didn't. But I was laughing because I'm like, God, divine love is always teaching me through cute guys. He uses what is familiar to you. This is what I hear. It's like for the disciples, he used fishing, and fishing stories and going out on the boat and walking on the water and stuff. And for me, a lot of intuition things have happened. And I mean, some people wouldn't call Elliot cute, but I got to meet him through intuition and all these amazing, weird synchronicities. Anyway, and so I was just laughing at that. But then, coming back to here, something just came up. Oh yeah, okay. So I was thinking, oh yeah, okay, that's why the surfer. Okay, not the surfer. The tennis player there was this cute tennis player. I used to watch tennis all the time because I love the dynamics of the emotions that would go up and down, and trying to regulate those emotions, and still trying to be your best at tennis and excel. And they work so hard. So I met some tennis players and stuff, sort of. But anyway, I remember, I think it was just on the TV show, not in person though. They were saying Tipsarevic had this tattoo on his leg, or arm or somewhere, I don't know. And he had it written in Japanese or something, a different language than what he spoke. And, but it said, the world will be saved by beauty. And it's a quote from Dostoevsky, and I've meditated on that a lot. And so the fuller quote goes, in the end, the world will be saved by beauty. No wonder I was saying a cute guy, because it's just like, there's like the beauty and the elegance that shows up in roller skating and being in the flow and being in good vibes and in dance and in art and the artistic side and in music. And you know how I sing too and all that stuff, but it's like in these things, these are the right side of your mind. And so right versus left, like left is logic, right is arts, and other languages I think go in the right. And so I just feel like the world has been so dominated by left brain for so long that I want to give this space, I honor this space that I give to my right side in this past year of more awakening, and a year and a half for me. I mean, it's been since like forever for me, because I've always been on this path and I realized it, but more so honoring the right side of my brain, the artistic side. And so what happens when we are people pleasing is, I'm not saying we just go to the left side of our brain, but we go to like a different part. That's just like, if you think of egotism is always in lack, always wants more. It's always saying, please, please, please me, and it is the fear state, and so the egotism side of ourselves, the more we let that dominate within ourselves, the more we're going to operate with other people according to their egotism and what their wants are. And then we lose ourselves. We forget who we are. We're not coming from this place of centeredness from our soul self. We're coming from, how can I get this person to like me because I am in lack? Or how can I get them to approve of me because I would get hit as a child or neglected if I didn't get their approval? And so it gets trained deep in us sometimes from our childhood to try to be the pleaser. And we learned how to do that, and we learned you're going to be rejected and neglected and punished in all sorts of different ways that hurt us in childhood if you don't choose to do this. So you better do it, And so what I noticed, going back to what I noticed about presence, getting into deep presence, is look, I just got in presence and there's a pine cone. The pine tree is way over there or there. I went behind these bushes so I wouldn't be on the trail. So but this is like your third eye. But anyway, I won't go into that more. It's just opening to higher consciousness. It doesn't mean you have to try to make things open. Okay, so let's go back to why we have a difficulty or resist. We resist because we hold on to our old way. It's like, I've had clients and stuff, and I know from my own experience, if we try something new, we were really conditioned by our old programming where we're going to get punished, or that's the bad way and you're a bad kid for doing that. And so some people just rebel and they're like, I'm just going to do whatever. I do what I want. I used to say that. I think that was from South Park or something. I do what I want. I do what I want, And sometimes it's important to embody that, to like have the courage to do what your intuition is calling you to do and inviting you to do. And sometimes it's very subtle and it's very weird and it does not make sense for the ego mind. The ego mind likes to define everything and has an end goal in mind, okay? And so it's always doing things as a means to an end. It's like if I was making this video in order for you to like me more, in order to get more clients or blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I don't even know if I want any more clients. Like, I love everyone. I love you guys. But I think I'm moving in a different direction right now. I'm just feeling it out. And so I'm making this because I want other people to know the love and the freedom that has come into my life. And it's come at the expense of facing a lot of very painful experiences. I don't know if it has to be so painful for everybody else. I'd rather other people learn so they don't have to go through the pain. Like the pain that I've already gone through, I want to share love so that you don't have to go through that, so you can learn. And so let's go back to, so the magical experiences always had this feeling of love and expansiveness and deep presence, and just someone not caring who I was, what I was about, what my title was or anything, and just being with me and loving being with me and me loving being with that person. And so I have some girlfriends right now that are just like, I love you. And we're so excited always to be around each other. And it's such a great feeling that it's like other people that don't have this enthusiasm for friendship or for closeness or whatever, they're just falling away out of my life, because it's just like, why would I invest my time in that? I don't. And so if I'm noticing that I have more enthusiasm for someone than they're showing up for me, then it's just like, it just naturally falls away. Or some of my friends live out of town and we just pick up where we left off, and it's great, It's not about that. It's just like, no, I'm gonna be enthusiastic and passionate about my life. And so the people that I attract in my life are also passionate about their own life, and they're following their passions, and they're passionate about having a deep friendship and closeness and connection and whatever, I can have some mystery. I taught one of my friends the other day, I'm like, less history, more mystery. I learned that one time from this radio show I was listening to about dating a long time ago. I just love that line. But anyway, so, and it's not about hiding. You know me, I don't hide. But I can still be private, All right, so if we know that we love the feeling of being appreciated and just as we are, without trying to put on a front or perform in any way or whatever, we're just loved in our being state. Sometimes the universe has arranged things so that could happen in a moment. And it's like, if I kept chasing after that moment, or like trying to strangle that out of a person, or like, come on, give me that moment again. Or out of myself, then it backfires, because that's the egotism chasing after that. And what you really what you really pretty much shifted into in that moment was like a state of soul, a state of presence, a state of Zen, you know? I remember one time watching the sunset, and we were listening to this Zen meditation type of music that I had never heard really before. And so it's like everything's just still, and nothing else matters, not the future, not the past. And you just feel content. You feel like love is just flowing through you. And so it's like not in that other person. Oh, I saw this little tiny flower. It's not in the flower. It's not in the ocean view. It's not in the pine cone. But it's like once you have this, and the more you live in it, the less inclined you are to please people. You're just not interested in it. I'm like, I can't be bothered. That's a saying I learned in England. I can't be bothered, you know, because it's just like, nah, that's not the way I'm gonna live my life. That's not what the direction of my life is. That's not what I'm interested in doing, or how. So it kind of falls away anyway, because before I got to this place where I am, I kept trying to make myself let go of things and not chase after things. And you know, it's like when people are addicted, you know, it's like, how do I get out of this addiction? How do I break this addiction? I need to just stop. And then what you resist persists, and you're pushing yourself down, and then like, oh, the shame cycle again. I know this as a psychologist, but I don't have it. Maybe I have it memorized right now, but you go, it's like shame, and then, you know, guilt, you have anger or whatever. There's the stages of grief. It's not that, but it's like, then you go use again, and then you feel shamed about the use, and then you feel bad again, and then you want to get high again. It's like this vicious cycle. And I'm like, how to sidestep that, so that, because when you are addicted to things, that's your tell. That is telling you that you are in the pleasing mindset, and you are living to please other people. Right now, you're living to please your addictions. So those are what's taking precedence and dominance in your life. It's like, I don't know how to have a good time without drinking, let's say, you know, or I don't know how to calm myself down without smoking something, or I don't know how to get in a good vibe without smoking something, or I don't know how to enjoy life. It's not about, and I'm not against myself. I'm not against alcohol in itself, just like I'm not against food in itself, just like I'm not against, you know, women or men being beautiful, you know. But when you start objectifying women or men, and you start using them for an end because you think you're going to get high, and then you're chasing that high, and then you feel low again, and you just keep going up and down and up and down, and like trying to get, you know, a more beautiful model of that, or younger or older or more muscular or more this, more that. It's like I'm just like, oh, look, they're just on the treadmill. Like, okay, there's the treadmill again. If it was right there, and I used to use with my clients, I used to use Bob Marley. I'm like, you think Bob Marley was like on a treadmill, like with an apple in front of him, like running after that? Like, he showed a mystic way of living life, where he's like, I don't care. It's not about the money. You think money makes you rich? There's a great little clip of him talking about that. He's like, money doesn't make you rich. You know, living your life, living passionately, living from your soul. Not letting your passions, your other passions, hook you in, and you're always chasing them and trying to feed them. They all want to be fed. Just look at all of it, like if you had 7 stray dogs here, and all 7 of them just want to be fed, and it's just like they keep barking, and you just keep feeding the one that's going to bite you the worst, or that's barking the highest, or that's the cutest, or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever, but it's not you necessarily choosing your life. And so our addictions, I'm not afraid to talk about them, but our addictions can show us, they're really painful sometimes, I know, but they can show us where we're still in that pleasing energy of wanting to please someone. to get our worth from some external source. My worth, does it come from an external source? Does it come because I'm wearing this hat, you know? Does it come from, now I have a hat head. Does it come because I'm wearing the skirt, you know? Underneath my skirt today, I put these pants on and I have my boots on, and I'm just like, what? I am so mismatched today, and I have my good vibes giant jacket because I just didn't want to be cold, you know? And it's like, is my worth because I'm making YouTube videos? Is my worth because like how much money I have in the bank or don't have in the bank, or my car? And like none of that, my worth does not come from any external source. Your worth has nothing to do with external source. I was listening to these prayer things this morning, and I was meditating, just sitting in my bed still, laying there, and I was like, God, divine love. I call God divine love, because God encompasses more than mother and father, female and masculine, like best friend, everything. It's all in there. And but I was like, wait, whatever designed this whole world is not an idiot and designed me, like made me. Like, I know we've always heard like, smile, God loves you, blah 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 blah, you know, Jesus loves you. But I was like, my soul somehow came from a part of God, or was created by an artistic God, and I wouldn't have known even what that is besides just words, unless I had been following the right side of my brain, my intuitive side, my artistic side, and understanding and living in beauty. And my life, it's like, has shifted, and my consciousness has shifted. And so I'm living, it's like my body and my soul is bathing in beauty, and I emanate that now because I live it, and I love it. And I hope to God there's no going back, but you know, I'm not trying to get for some kind of end, or even, you know, put beauty in a bottle so that I can figure out how to keep chasing that and drinking that, you know. It's just like, it is what it is right now in this moment. And so when and that was just 27. So anyway, 9, I don't know. Sometimes I look at numbers and there's synchronicities, and sometimes I just let them go anyway. But maybe it means something to other people. So if we know that it's not in that other person, it's not in that awesome night we had, we dance all night to the best song ever. You know, it's that feeling state. And that feeling state is original love and original joy and original peace. And that's how one person describes it, one of my teachers that I had a class with this weekend. And original love, joy, peace, it's just like letting that wash over you, letting yourself live in that. The more you go into presence, okay, but presence, the more you know that. Eckhart Tolle talks about it in The Power of Now. It's in chapter 4, I think, because I was just teaching on it, and for my class, is he's saying you're developing presence power, activate. You know, you're learning how to develop more presence power in your life by being present in each moment. By learning who you are. Who are you? Am I my skirt, or my boots, or my hat, or whatever? Or am I me? Am I this isness within me? And so what happened was, in childhood, in early childhood, that isness got pushed down and rejected, and subconsciously, you know, our parents, it wasn't their isness, their soul self wasn't welcomed in them. They could have an ego form of spirituality and go on a spiritual path. And I've heard sometimes we'll gravitate towards philosophy, like Dostoevsky, you know, and a spiritual path, because we're trying to escape not escape in a bad way, but we're trying to get away from the pain we experience in this physical world, you know. And it doesn't feel safe for us to be in our bodies because there was so much neglect or shame or rejection. Not to trigger you at all, just to know, like, okay, so what there was, we don't have to identify ourselves by that. We can identify that it was there, and identify why then, because I was observing, okay, Why am I afraid to go into deeper presence if I know that deeper presence is what keeps freeing me, you know? You can call it presence with Christ, because Christ said the kingdom of God is within you. And he says, when you pray, go into the door and go into your inner room and shut the door. You know, I can still be here in everything. And as I shut the door, let's say, to all the people that are like, hey, come out with us, but they don't invest in a reciprocal relationship with me. Like, no, like I'm going into my inner room by being present in my world and not listening to all those voices that say, be in fear, be in lack, you're gonna run out, don't trust, you know. But what I learned in childhood was to trust, and then, you know, if you do a trust fall, woo, boom, you know, you land on the ground, then you learn not to trust, you know. And so it's relearning how to trust by trusting yourself, by following this wild path that other people don't understand, that other people will make fun of perhaps because it stretches them and they don't want to be stretched. They want to stay in the fear mode and trying to get money in the old way that they got it, or trying to get provisions, you know, lots of stuff, and feel confident in that. And I was listening to some video and they were talking about these millionaires or billionaires that own like private jets, and they're like, but mine only has six seats in it. And it's like, if they're running after money in order to try to get that good feeling again, they're always going to be in lack, even if they have private jets and millions of dollars. That's why money is just so stupid. No, it's not stupid. It's just like your brain. Your mind isn't stupid. It's how you use it. If I have a beautiful violin that Mozart played or something that they found, and I use it to, you know, to whack at these bushes, I'm not using that violin in a way to make beautiful music, you know. So with your mind and your presence and your consciousness and your choices, your free choices, and your choices not to be enslaved. And so, but we're enslaved by the conditioning and the programming of our childhood. If I was going to get beat if I went to a place that they told me was a stupid place to go, then I learned not to go to that place, you know. And it's like, until I teach myself, let's keep going there and see what happens and see what beauty unfolds. And I keep learning by being courageous to go there. And then you find a deeper version of yourself, and you're like, I'm not rejecting you. I'm not apologize. I recognize that it's sad that they rejected you, that they didn't know your soul self, that they didn't welcome you to go to this deep place. But I welcome you to go here. And as we keep learning how to go here, we learn how to let go of pleasing, and we live in joy. We enjoy life because we're living in joy. So I know even this video seems like, what did she even talk about? But it's all planting seeds for you to follow this deeper knowing in you and stop being a people